All right, man. All right, this is the episode where we decide once and for all, is it the refreshed pod or the refreshed cast?
Refresh cast.
It's the refreshed cast, bro. It's never not going to be the refreshed cast after
Refresh
today.
cast. So I told my CEO today it's called Refresh Cast. So that's what it is.
Refresh cast.
Yeah.
So, pregnancy. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So basically, as I found out that Callan is pregnant, that's really where I've been pouring so much of my energy into learning more about that and more details. And we ended up finding this badass midwife that's like crunchy as fuck, like all about the natural. She grew up in the Western perspective, and then she went and worked in Africa delivering children. It was like, we're doing everything wrong. And so I've been just like absorbing all this information from her. And it's just wild, bro. Literally everything that we do as far as childbirth in the West is wrong. And it's detrimental to us. And it's like, it's deep, bro. Not only in the physical, but in the emotional and the spiritual aspects. It's wild.
I know we have an outlet. What's the gnarliest thing that you've learned?
Gnarly stuff, man. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that I've learned this recently, but just like the entire process of like, dude, we are like, this woman is a portal, right? From the spiritual to the physical. And this life is just breaking out of the waters and coming into this physical existence. And the first thing that we do is cut the umbilical cord, remove it from the mother, put poison in the eyes, wipe off the protective barrier that's protecting it that becomes its immune system, and then it with fucking drugs.
And clipping his dick.
Dude, which we're going to get into on that, bro. I learned some crazy shit about that too, bro. Well, I'll just say it right now.
Refresh cast.
So the midwife was talking about this. So whenever they take the little boy and they're about to do the circumcision, the doctor has to make him erect. So it's his first sexual experience. So it makes him erect, and then they cut off the foreskin. So his first sexual experience is pure sexual trauma, bro. Now, that foreskin, dude, first of all, it cleans the dick. It's all the pleasure nerves are within that foreskin. So that has the most amount of pleasure. That's like the clitoris for the dick, essentially.
Cut our clits, man.
Dude, 100%. And then they're talking about even for the woman, when you're having sex with the woman, it creates a suction experience for the woman. So it makes it feel way better for the woman as well.
So and you know, that's just a part of growing up within a system of control that you didn't create. Someone else's system, you know, you living by their rules and their whatever the collective beliefs are of the society that you grow up in. And so you start off in this planet with deep sexual trauma. Like, I can't describe how deep it goes. You know, like, I'm very tapped in. I can, like, every now and then, dog, I'll just look up at the sky and be like, them fuckers clicked me. And I did not get to say yes or no.
No.
You know, this is once every 3 months. Fuck, they got me, dog. They fucking got me good, man. But now we have the refresh cast to prevent future babies from being tortured, you know? And so what's on this? Let's see what we got.
And so the main thing is today we're just going to talk about natural parenting, natural childbirth, some things to think about as far as low tox parenting. Like what you use to cleanse your child, what you use for as far as clothing is concerned. So coming back to a natural way of living so that your child can live the most abundant, happy, healthy life.
Well, you know, I'm really excited to get into this episode for multiple reasons, bro. Because like you're about to be a father. It's your first kid, right?
Yeah.
And that's maybe this can reach somebody who's also about to become a father. Maybe it's like a decade from now, but you know, it's one of those where it's like people, no matter what walk of life you're in, you know, this information can be beneficial, and it could prevent a lot of unnecessary suffering.
Dude, totally. And that's the whole point is like we're bringing up the next generation and like let's give them the best opportunity we possibly can rather than doing everything in our power to work against them. And that's what's happening in the modern allopathic Western medicine model right now. And so, yeah, I definitely want to combat that and so that we can raise up a next generation of light warriors that are living at 100%. So, you know, like the first thing is I've worked with a lot of pregnant women and they're always talking about how horrible they feel. Like they're always nauseous. They're always sick. They're having all these crazy mood swings and issues. And that's become normalized in our world for pregnant women just to like feel horrible. And that's it's supposed to be that way. But it's so interesting because with Callan, because her diet's in check, because she exercises and moves her body every day, because she has a healthy, productive lifestyle, she doesn't have any of those issues. And so just like...
And neither does the baby.
Right. And it will not. He will not.
He?
That's what we believe.
We'll find out next on the Refreshcast.
We both have that feeling. We won't know until...
Yeah, Mariah had a dream of our first baby, and I don't have kids yet. She had a dream of our first baby. His name's Micaiah. So it's cool, bro, to have that deep connection. And that's another reason to be healthy and live a healthy life is whenever you're deeply connected with your intuition and your body and your organs and your soul and your energy, your vital energy, you have access to more information that can prevent, again, the unnecessary suffering. So
I think that's the main thing for women, just understanding that just like when someone gets sick and they have symptoms, those are symptoms of detoxification. So it's the same thing when you're pregnant. When you have all of these negative symptoms, it's because you're polluting yourself. And so these symptoms are the elimination of toxins. And that's kicked into overdrive because not only do you need to detox for yourself, but you got to detox for your child. And so I would work with these women. They're like, well, I'm just craving fried chicken and canes and all this and that. It's like, well, that's why you feel like shit. You're eating garbage all the time. And you're using your pregnancy as an excuse to continue to eat garbage. Like when you really should be hunkering down and paying more attention. So
hold up. We cannot skip past that. You're using your pregnancy as an excuse to eat garbage. Don't do that.
Yes. 100%. So then the other issue is you have these first-time mothers and you're going through the typical Western medicine perspective, and so they're using ultrasounds the whole time. And there's been an issue with tongue ties for children and developmental issues within the womb. And it's because these ultrasounds are basically radiating these children with all this energy. They're just being pounded, and it negatively impacts the production of the fascia, which connects all of the body together. It's like the holding sac for the musculoskeletal system.
Oh, okay. So my question is, do the doctors in this Western system, it almost feels like they're programmed so hard they don't know they're doing harm.
No,
that's kind of the shtick is that's the evil and divine irony of the people that we trust with our lives. We're given false information that kills people.
Totally. Well, I mean, bro, think about it. Like everything that we do from the medical industry, they say it's for your health. So as far as, or anything that we do with children or pharmaceuticals in general, but is our population continuously getting healthier or less healthy? It's just like common sense, dude. Like we have an epidemic of over 75% of American adults are chronically sick and on multiple pharmaceutical drugs. So if it actually makes
75?
Literally 75%, bro.
Are chronically sick on pharmaceuticals?
50% of children are chronically sick, bro.
Fuck me, dog.
50%
what the fuck, man?
So,
God damn it. So can we just get our shit together, people? Come on, dog. We gotta rally. It's late in the fourth quarter, man.
We are the revolution.
Revelation. Because here's my thing with that is like, okay, the best answer is to grow your soul, your own depth of knowledge and wisdom, your own soul, and then grow your community from the inside out. Because if we just mowing motherfuckers down, think about all the trauma the baby's gonna have.
The revolution is eternal.
The internal, and it's like a rinse cycle, bro. It's like this. It's a beautiful thing. So what's next?
So it's the same thing with the Doppler, like, so that's another thing that they use to check the heartbeat during pregnancy. So it's funny because like they do ultrasounds to check to make sure the baby's alive and to see what sex it is and all this. But my midwife actually just used a normal stethoscope and we could hear the baby already, the heartbeat. So none of that stuff is even necessary. It's all completely unnecessary. We could say, well, we want to know the sex of the baby, but you don't need to know. It's irrelevant. And if it's damaging to your child, is that
they're getting radiated? We got a bunch of radiate. I was probably radiated, bro.
What is work?
So before your dick is cut out, and you get fucking.
And
bro.
so when children before like 10, 20, 30 years ago, you maybe had 1 or 2 ultrasounds. Now they do them constantly. And we've seen this rise of developmental issues with children, but it's directly tied in with the rise of the amount that we're doing ultrasounds and things like that.
It's a soft genocide, bro.
Well,
let alone, I mean, and this episode isn't on like abortions and the abortion tactics that they use. Like the form of abortion is very questionable. Like it can be. And so, that ultimately goes into like on the spiritual level, it's like child sacrifice. You're sacrificing your children unwittingly to the Baphomet in a lot of ways, and who else to go this deep but the refreshed guys?
The pharmakia and everything.
What's the pharmakia? Where's that in the outline? I'm excited about it.
It's not in here, but pharmakia is the Greek word for witchcraft and sorcery. So that's where we get the word pharmacy goes from.
Whoa,
witchcraft. Because it's pills and potions utilized to work against the body's natural processes in order to bypass the karmic debt from the choices that we make. So all negative symptoms are a byproduct of our poor diet and lifestyle decisions and our inability to deal with emotional traumas that are stored in the body. And instead of doing the work to actually cleanse the body, to change our diet and our lifestyle, we're taking a pill or potion to work against those natural processes. But those natural processes are the healing solution. So we inevitably have other side effects that come along with it. So they're not side effects, they're effects. But anyways, that's the whole thing. It's black magic, and that's why there's always repercussions to it.
That is a fucking bar, and I'm gonna clip that, bro. I'm gonna subtitle that shit, bro, because the witchcraft, as you say, it stems from a form of escapism. You want a way out? I'll sell you a way out. And to all my pregnant mothers out there, or soon to be pregnant mothers, it's really important that you don't take the easy way out. And this is something that we as a civilization have to learn is don't take the easy way out.
Right. So that's a great segue into like not taking drugs while you are giving birth. Like the pain is a part of the experience. It connects you with the child, and you're going to numb yourself in one of the most potent experiences you're going to have in your human existence of being the portal of new life. And then you're going to numb yourself and numb that experience. Not to mention the fact that there's all types of exercises that can be done in diet and lifestyle leading up to it that can make it seamless and almost painless. And not to say that it's that's going to be the truth for everybody, but it's not as crazy as you think it will be. It's the fear of the pain that makes it more painful. And I've heard this from other women who have gone through and had painless pregnancies. They've had painless deliveries. And they did all the work in order to do that.
Painless delivery. That's a bar, too. Like, maybe that'd be an affirmation for the soon-to-be mom.
No, that isn't 100%.
I'm ready for a painless delivery.
Callan has been writing.
That's awesome. Good job, Callan. If you see this, if this makes you feel better,
there's exercise you can do to prepare yourself, and doing all the yoga and stuff helps with that. So it can be a pain-free delivery. The other thing is that so often they have a date before actually having the delivery, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like, we don't get to just decide when it comes out, because if they don't come out by this date, we force it out, right? We start giving them or pills to force the baby out. We don't even trust the child inside the body being created. We don't trust the body to know exactly what it's doing, and it does know exactly what it's doing. And so we don't need to force it out. There was a mother that I was following on Instagram, and she was several weeks past her delivery date, and everyone was like, "You gotta go to the doctor." She's like, "No,
Cut your stomach open.
no, like, my baby will come later." And it came out perfectly healthy. Like, it knows when it's finished. Why are we trying to force things? Like, we know better than nature, and that's the whole principle of the allopathic model, is that we know better than nature. And the fact is that we fucking don't.
You know, it's funny, like from the father's perspective, and you know, this is, maybe we can do an episode on the fatherhood epidemic in this society, because I really feel like a lot of fathers need to put more emotional work in to really being present for the process of that development. There's a lot of absent fathers, and that comes from numbing out your heart, not being connected. You know, it stems from a lot of things. But I say that to say, you know, you ever hear those stories about how, you know, maybe the husband and wife, the wife's giving birth and the husband is like, you know, praying to God, having one of those experiences where it's like, yo, it's that first idea of, oh, it's bigger than me now, you know, and those entering fatherhood or soon to be in fatherhood, like it's really important to create a deep connection, or a connection deeply rooted in spirit, so you don't fall for any lies that could potentially harm your child.
And the mother.
And it's really, it comes back. It's the man's responsibility to hold the space, create the space, co-create the space,
Support, yeah.
do the research, say, hey, no, put the Cane's chicken down, man. You got a headache.
Yeah.
You got a headache. The headache isn't because you're supposed to have a headache when you're pregnant. It's because you ate a damn ho-ho.
Right. And you know, the gluten and sugar and shit. Yeah.
Gluten, man. Fuck you, gluten. I'm gonna take that just as one flavor.
You know, and even like the way that they have women in bed to get pregnant, to give birth, like, that's not natural at all. You're supposed to be in a squatting position or on your hands and feet, and they won't even allow mothers to do that. And then we wonder why we have to have all the C-sections. It's like we're just going against the natural way of being, and it's ludicrous.
Think about all the mamas that had their tummies cut open whenever they could have been squatting.
So, and about the C-sections is, when a woman is giving birth and the child comes through the vaginal canal, it comes in contact with all of the beneficial bacteria. That bacteria becomes the child's immune system and digestive bacteria. And so when you do C-section, they miss out on all of that bacteria, hence a lot of the gut issues and stuff that we have. Now, on top of that, when they come out, they're covered in something called a vernix. And that's that white, crazy stuff that's on the baby when they first come out. And you're supposed to leave that on the child for several hours and then rub it in, because that essentially is the immune system for the child.
You're going to be a fucking legend, dog.
But instead, we're wiping it all off, immediately cutting that umbilical cord that's still giving it the nutrients from inside. So we're cutting off its food source right away. And we're taking it away from the mother. The most important thing is for that child to be born directly into the mother's hands. Like, from the womb to the external womb, you know? And instead, we're taking away that opportunity from the child to really connect with its mother immediately. And that alone, it's like, it's pure evil.
This is bringing up a question, two questions. We'll ask them one at a time. What is, let's break some placenta rumors or placenta. How long do you plan on the baby and the placenta being together? What's just take it away, bro. Placentas, go.
So the umbilical cord basically plan on leaving for many hours until it starts to dry up, and then you remove it. The placenta, we're not going to ingest the placenta. I know that's a big thing that a lot of people do for the nutrients. It's supposed to help balance the hormones. What people don't understand, and I learned this from the midwife, actually. I did not know this beforehand. but the placenta is the filtration system. That's what protects the child. So it's actually full of toxins, especially in today's world. So you don't want to be ingesting that filtration system because it's gonna be so covered in toxins. So yeah, we're not gonna be ingesting that placenta.
No, okay, so ingesting, I was asking more about, good, that's good, that's good. Don't ingest the placenta. What about keeping it connected to the baby and for how long?
So what she said is you keep it until it starts to dry out.
Okay, how long can that be? You know?
She said it's like several hours, like 4, 6, 8 hours. So like when you do an at-home birth, you basically have a pool in there. You know, the mother's in there, and then the male's just holding space, loving, supporting, encouraging, doing all the things.
You're doing great, baby.
Making it comfortable.
Scalp massage.
And then after the birth, basically we just chill with the baby, really connect skin to skin contact, and the midwife stays there for up to 8 hours, and then starts removing things as stuff starts to dry.
Okay, noted. Now, so I was going to ask about placentas, and you can go to the next one. It'll come back.
What's up? You don't remember? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the next thing is like after birth, the big thing is breastfeeding. So a lot of women have trouble breastfeeding. They're not producing milk. And again, that is an issue with your diet, your lifestyle, that you're not able to produce the life force for your own child. And a lot of times we're forcing pregnancies to happen, right? And then we wonder why we can't produce the food for that child. But it's so much deeper than the food. Like now, then we just start giving them formula. And if you look at these formulas, they're made with soy and sugar, like straight up just sugar. So you're feeding your brand new child sugar water that probably didn't get the beneficial gut bacteria it was supposed to have. And then we wonder why they have all these digestive issues later in life.
We're going to do an episode on sugar with your bitch ass. Sugar, we're calling you out, bro. Episode 10. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
So now when you're breastfeeding, not only is that their nutrition source, it is their medicine. So anything that the child needs, that connection, that skin-to-skin contact, the woman's human body will actually create the specific nutrients and hormones the child needs for its specific needs. Like this is such a it's an enclosed system that all works together. And so like you're literally producing the exact medicine. So it's so much more than just like eating food, right? You're literally giving the child its specific needs. And that's why it's so important that these children are able to breastfeed rather than living off of formula.
Give yourself nutrients, you give your child nutrients. You give yourself garbage, you give your child
Exactly.
garbage. And people might have food addictions and stuff like that, or they might not think that they're able to do it or make such a rapid transition. What do you have to say to somebody who's like, man, I feel like I'm so far behind on this? Like, where can they start?
I mean, you start with changing your diet 100%. Stop eating fake food. Start eating real living foods. That is the most important thing above all else. So just transition off of, if it didn't exist 100 years ago, don't eat it.
Really?
That's the real place to start. Drink clean water, eat real food, high quality animal products, fruits, vegetables, organic. That's it. And like, if we can't get to a place to where we're feeding ourselves properly, why are we reproducing the next generation? Like, it's just so irresponsible to me.
Speaking of reproducing the next generation, fellas out there, if you're thinking about having a kid, if you and your woman are planning on it, I would recommend you retain the seed for 30 days or just a long fucking time and then just hit them with the super sperm. Because I really feel like I'm going to have a superhero baby because I'm going to have a very holistic upbringing. It's going to be very homeopathic. It's going to be very holistic. And super sperm, dude. I'm going to try to like knob us for like 90 days and just like do the qigong. And so I guess what was the preparation process like for you for becoming, okay, you find out you're going to be a dad. How did that shift your lens of perception? How did it shift your perspective? What do you see transform?
Well, I mean, I was already living in that way, you know what I mean? So, like, I actually thought I couldn't have kids because I'd never taken any precautions ever and never had a baby. And because of my past and all the drugs and the way I live life, I just assumed I couldn't I couldn't get someone pregnant. But, I spent the past 7 years really detoxing, changing my diet, my lifestyle, cleansing, reversing all these health conditions I had, and blah, blah. I get a girl pregnant, right? So really my shift came more towards Calvin. Of like, okay, so for one, like, it's no longer like, oh, cool, you're just eating a cupcake and stuff. Like, it's like you're eating for this child to make sure the child's getting everything they want. So really holding that in. I will say that the biggest thing for me is being careful about, even more so about how I talk to Callie, because I'm also talking to my unborn child. And whatever energy is being exchanged is affecting that child right then and there. And so that's really important. The other thing is like really going hard in my business so that I can actually support my child financially and take care of them and build this nest in this safe environment and create this environment in which my kid doesn't have to go to school, because I don't want him to go to school. He doesn't have to eat fake food. Like, basically we can raise this child the way that we believe he's supposed to be raised, in the most natural way possible, eating real food, avoiding all the screens, avoiding the indoctrination of religions and the education system. And in order to do that, you have to have the finances available to you to build that kind of infrastructure for your home. And the other thing is like, okay, I want to get this garden huge and booming so that we can feed the kid the food that we grow ourselves. And eventually I can teach my child how to garden. Like, fuck school, I want to teach my kid how to grow food.
If you think Matt is a great father, is going to be a great father, hit a like, subscribe, and comment down below, bro, and let him know. Let him know, man. What else we got on this outline, bro?
The only other thing I wanted to touch on was, as far as breastfeeding, the oxytocin that is released when the child is breastfeeding. So that oxytocin is what bonds the mother and child together. So when you're not breastfeeding, you're missing that literal hormonal bond that is required to really connect to your own child. So a lot of these mothers don't feel connected to their child, but they're also not breastfeeding, and or they numb themselves during the delivery process. So this is why you don't feel connected to your child. You're numbing the entire experience. You're avoiding half of the experience in general. And it's interesting, like, so mothers really connect to their children through the nursing, through the nurturing, through the loving. And dads release oxytocin when they're playing with their children, when they're roughhousing with their children. So again, it just shows like the different sides of being a wife or a husband, and our particular responsibilities with that child. I think that's pretty cool.
You hear that, dads? Playful headlocks, increase oxytocin, dude.
That's all I wanted to do with my nephews, is like throw them wrecked and beat them up. It's like definitely
like, do it again. That was awesome. You're like, good on it.
Exactly. So the next thing, as far as after having the children, another thing that I think is really important is co-sleeping, rather than taking your brand new child and sticking it in a room by itself in a crib. That doesn't really make any sense to me. In our culture and our society, it's almost abnormal to sleep with your kid for an extended period of time. But that's such a powerful time to connect with your child. And I think that that's really important. Again, as much skin-to-skin contact as possible for a newborn especially. But you want to build that bond, that connection. You want to be able to raise your little human to be someone you want to be friends with, because you're going to be spending your whole life with them, So I think that that's really important. And just like, again, on a deeper level, if you're a brand new child, you just came out of this fucking portal into this physical existence, and then you're put into a room by yourself in a crib behind bars. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's a prison pipeline in this.
It's very interesting, man.
Crazy, dog.
So
it's like the rock the cradle, like. And those old weird songs were super creepy, like the old children's songs and poems.
Yeah, dude, that's true.
What do you say to people that are afraid of like rolling over on their kid, or like how the fuck, because like they make that excuse.
Yeah, it's just.
I think about it. I'm like, well, if I'm like, dude, I could fucking accidentally roll on my baby and everything's gone.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. I don't feel like I would. I feel like I would know, baby. Like, I don't do it to Floyd. I don't
Right. You don't roll over your
because Floyd would be like,
and like the baby's gonna let you know, like it makes noise. It's alive. Like you're You don't. Again, you don't.
You hear that? That's dumb. Don't use that as an excuse to lock your kid in a
You're not
room
gonna
by
roll
itself.
over your
behind
pockets
bars.
and make it not be able to breathe. Like none of that. It's just irrelevant, dude. It's irrelevant.
You hear that? You put my worries at ease, bro.
I've had several friends who have had kids, and they co-sleep with them, and it's they're not rolling over.
Sounds great. Sounds like a good time. Sounds like the baby'd be a lot
Such
less
an important time to connect. So the other thing that I wanted to touch on, as far as that's concerned, is like, what are we feeding the child when he starts to eat, and then the medicines that we use, and avoiding all of that, because all of that is working against the body's natural processes. We are actually destroying the immune system of the child by utilizing those things. They're flooded with heavy metals and preservatives. And if you really take a look at it and talk about pharmacia, they destroy the gut, and the gut is the center of the intuition. The creator or spirit inhabits the gut. So if we destroy the gut, we destroy that individual's connection to spirit, its intuition.
Talk that shit, Matt.
The gut is the primary brain. The brain is the second brain. But all of us in this, especially in the West, we live up here. We're disconnected from spirit, from our intuition. And that's because we're all injected with these pharmacia that are destroying our connection to God, essentially. So I believe it's incredibly important to avoid that, to allow your child to become the most connected to spirit as they can, connected to their intuition.
The way out of the pharmacia is the farm is the key, bro. You know? And I know, I'm sure we're gonna get to like I heard a nasty rumor you're prepping a garden here pretty soon, man. About to take a big leap to working in your own domain. By the time this is released, it'll be well into the shot. But like, you know, I do have a question. I want to let you get the outline, but I do have a question about, you know, like how the small things that people can do to start to build up their own grocery store, you know, to prepare for the child that's gonna come and the positive impact of that.
Yeah, I mean, actually, we should do one just some gardening. Gardening has been one of the most healing things that I ever started to do. First of all, it's very empowering to know that you're creating your own food source. So you can actually make sure that it's high quality, you know where it's coming from, you know what's been sprayed or not sprayed on it. And it's actually super easy. And believe it or not, the earth is designed to grow things. So you plant seeds and then they grow. I know it's pretty nuts. My biggest thing is like, choose things that are native. And so you plant it once and it'll continue to reproduce year after year after year after year. Like blackberries, dude, you got blackberries every year for the rest of your life. Those things take over. Service berries, same thing. Different fruit trees like pawpaws, plums, peaches are kind of hard, but they will come back every year. Pears, all those things grow really well here. Melons grow really well. Strawberries grow really well, and all of them except for melons will come back every single year. So you plant it once and you have a lifetime. Grapes are another thing. And they're super easy, dude. They're super easy to grow.
This is what's so dope about community. I want to ask about the importance of community in the nurturing and development of a child. Because, like, bro, over at the Sawyer household, I'm the fucking potatoes, carrots, onions, squash, beets, radishes, basil and tomato and pepper guy, right? Because I like them, you know, don't have a baby coming through. I'm liking it. I like a food thick, you know what I mean? And you got the berries. So if you surround yourself with the right people in the child development process, like I honestly just want to let you take it away, and I want to ask, what influence does the community have on the child, and what control do you have over that?
Yeah.
Like, maybe there's somebody there with the baby to be that knows they got a friend who, or like, you know, sometimes women get jealous when they're holding the baby, or, you know.
Well, first I want to touch on, you know, I'm growing all those other things too, but the easiest thing to do is to just grow what's native and perennial so it always comes back. But I do grow all the other stuff. It's just not going to come back for you every year, you know, so it's not as price efficient, essentially.
You're making me want to get a berry tree.
But they're awesome, but they take over too. All right, so as far as community, I think that's another thing that's been completely lost, is we're designed to live in small communities. So each child is supposed to have many mothers, many fathers, be surrounded with other children. And that's something that's been destroyed. Like there is no community in our modern day of living in the United States. We're all separate from one another. So, I mean, this idea that a stay-at-home mom by herself with a child, like that's just not realistic. And how can that one mother give everything that this child needs? That's why we need many healthy mothers, many healthy fathers. And so, again, my long-term goal is to basically have a holistic compound where we all live together, we grow all our own food. And so we're getting back to that natural tribalistic mentality that we're designed to have. We're supposed to live in tribes.
Where everyone is vetted heavily.
Well, yeah, ideally, you guys would have all been brought up together if we were actually living the way we were supposed to. You'd all be essentially related. You know what I mean? Like beautiful. So it is also convoluted here. But yeah, I think that's really important. And so we may not have that, but I at least have one set of parents that agrees with everything we're doing. Callan's parents agrees with everything that we're doing. So we have built a community of people who have the same values and know the importance of food and spirituality and all that stuff. So I think at least building your community nowadays is huge.
That's going to be huge. So we got low tox, living for children, natural skincare and cleaning supplies, diapers, clothing. Let's talk about some of this, man.
So, all right, just like with all people, the skin is the largest organ. Anything you put on the skin is absorbed in the bloodstream. So, I mean, you look at Johnson & Johnson had baby powder, and that baby powder was causing cancer all over the place. They got sued for it. The people sued them, won, and all these people got huge payouts because it was causing cancer. So anything you put on your child is being absorbed into their bloodstream. And we have all kinds of phthalates, sodium lauryl sulfate, parabens. All of these things are endocrine disruptors, which means they mess up the hormonal system of the child or they cause cancer. And so if you're using products that aren't natural that contain these, you're essentially poisoning your child. It's being directly absorbed into that bloodstream.
And what we'll do for the people listening to this, I want to put those words in bold on the video form of this. And just one more time, can you list what those toxic ingredients were?
Parabens, phthalates, sodium lauryl sulfate, just to name a few.
Crazy, man. This is why I fuck with you, Matt, because it's like, you know, a lot of people aren't in that mindset of, well, there's sodium sulfate in this, so I'm not going to feed it to my child. They're in survival.
Put it on their child.
Or put it on their child.
Yeah, it's like shampoos, lotions.
The next topic, dog, is making me this
So, the same thing with diapers, dude. Diapers are toxic, bro. Diapers are very toxic. So, what I recommend and what I'm going to use is cloth diapers, so they're reusable and they're not going to have all the different chemicals from manufacturing and things like that.
Cloth diapers.
Yeah, Joe Haley, didn't even use a diaper. They just followed him around with a bucket, and he would just shit in the bucket when he was about to go and you catch it. And it's actually, from what I understand, is they actually get potty trained much faster that way.
That's pretty dope. That's the next level of dadhood is
catching your child.
Yeah. Always about to shit. Yeah. Super dad, bro.
It's big.
Okay, so the diapers are toxic as fucking. So you recommend a cloth wrapped around it and you can wash it and reuse it. How often? How many times can you reuse it?
For indefinitely. It's
really?
Yeah.
So the poop comes right off the cloth.
Yeah.
No biggie. Okay. See, I'm glad that this is the form of the episode because I got questions. Because I haven't been studying nothing, so I feel like I can take that perspective of the innocent viewer who's like, you know what? So I'm not gonna roll on my baby. And now you say it, it makes sense.
Yeah.
There's I know baby's right there, dude.
Yeah.
All
right, so for the clothing for the child, the biggest thing is a lot of children's clothes are made of polyester. Polyester is not breathable, so the child breathes through the skin. So you're basically suffocating your child when you put them in polyester or nylon or rayon or any of these synthetic fibers. Not to mention that these fibers are plastic. It's just plastic.
Swim shirts.
All of it. Yes, it's plastic. So those plastics are being absorbed into PFAs, which are forever toxins, and they do not come out, and they're absorbed through the skin, and they cause again, endocrine disruptions, so hormonal imbalances and things like that. All types of defects as far as they grow, like effects.
Man, and you know, this is funny because I wonder how many people believe us, right?
Right.
But dude, I mean, this is the cold hard truth, and some of this shit, if you're not well refreshed on baby daddy, baby mama 101, bro, you're accidentally poisoning your kid with damn near everything that you're feeding it.
Yeah.
And it's so, you know, twisted that this is the thing that you love the most and you're accidentally poisoned. So I would definitely say for anybody that's thinking about, maybe I should be more holistic. Yes, bro. And the time is now, and it needs to happen like quite immediately, because there is so many ways, 1,000 ways to die, as they say, you know, like swim shirt, sunscreen.
Bro, people putting sunscreen to protect their child from the source of all life. You're putting toxic bullshit on this child to protect him from the source of all life. Like, you want your kid to get sunlight. Like, God, dude, it's so crazy. We're just...
And you know, I'm good. Run up the comments, haters. Oh, but they're scared of me. Everybody knows. So
you want your child out in the dirt. Let them out in the dirt, dude. You want them to get dirty. That's where they increase their immune system. They come in contact with this bacteria that make up their immune system. Like, you want a dirty baby in the sun.
You want a dirty baby in the sun.
You guys believe I'm be in the garden letting my baby just get fucking dirty all day long, just like...
That's my little wild animal right there. He's gonna fucking run laps around your children.
Telling you.
Mic drop. Dude.
So with the clothing, you want natural fibers, you want organic cotton, you want organic linen. You know, it's even interesting, like in the Bible, it talks about make all of your clothing from cotton and linen because it's the highest vibration. Mm-hmm. So it actually enhances your health when you wear these fabrics. Nowadays, all of our clothes are a mixture of fabrics, which the Bible also says do not mix fabrics. Well, why is that? Because it cancels out the vibration. So it actually is zeroed out, so it's no frequency of vibration.
You that Christian, Matt's legit. Like, he listens, he loves,
I love truth.
He understands. That's, okay, I want to emphasize that. You just keep saying dope shit. I don't give a fuck if this podcast is an hour and a half, dog. Like, bro... The reason that book said not to mix cloths is because it cancels out the vibration of the cloth, of the linen that you are wearing. God damn, man. Like, that's what, you know, this is another reason I feel like I should wear all silk all the time.
Not silk.
Damn it.
Linen and cotton, bro. Linen and cotton.
It's the big cotton road, man.
And it's crazy, like, so I've been on this mission to find natural clothing, and you find it, I'm like, oh, linen shirt, but they put some cotton in it. Cotton shirt, they put some linen in it. Why? Because it cancels it out. And not to mention, anything from the big box stores is all made of rayon and polyester and plastic, bro.
Are there any websites you know of, or are there any resources we could link down in the...
So I can link them down for sure.
No, we link them down.
The other thing that was interesting is, like, so these polyesters, rayons, nylon, all that kind of stuff, they absorb the radiation from the 5G, from the Wi-Fi, from the Bluetooth, and they concentrate it onto your skin. So this goes for, you know, adults as well. And so you're actually adding in all this EMS and you're absorbing it directly onto your skin because it's absorbed through that fabric as well. So it actually increases the amount of damage that all the EMS...
So it acts as a receptor of sorts.
Exactly.
Almost like if there was a worldwide with, like, you know, things that interacted with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, little microparticles that, as the EMF of the raises up, it interacts with the foreign metals that you accidentally...
Tell me something just like that.
Because you wanted to go to fucking Dave Matthews Band to be okay, you know what I mean? Let's talk that shit, dude. I love this episode.
Okay, all right. So the other things is, like, being aware of the cribs, the car seats, the blankets, all that kind of stuff. Again, natural fabrics. There's so many different types of toxins, flame retardants that are on those types of products. So looking for non-toxic products, non-toxic bedding for your child. All that stuff is really important. All that is absorbed through the bloodstream from the skin. So these are a lot of things that people don't normally think about that are really important.
It is.
All right. So the last thing I wanted to touch on was just, like, screen time and toys.
So the last topic you wanted to touch on, the technological fucking overlords, but that's like a big one. Like the phone and the autism rates are skyrocketing. Take it away, Matt.
Yeah, so basically, one of the most beautiful things about children is their imagination, their ability to pretend. And so whenever we're giving them all these toys or the screens, we destroy their imagination, their ability to create. They become empty shells that can be indoctrinated and programmed rather than their own big imaginations and being co-creators the way that they were designed. So that's one of the big spiritual aspects I wanted to touch on. Not to mention, just like the scientific studies have showed that it causes sleep disruptions for children when they're always using screens. It causes learning disorders for them. It causes irritability and mood disorders. And we see this to be true. In fact, I have a friend that is a parent of 3 kids. And he talks about like when he takes the screens away, it's like they become possessed, like they just freak out. Right?
The little techno demon inside of them starts screeching for the robotic fucking.
And we've touched on this before, but that's the whole thing. Like this is a black mirror, it's a scrying mirror. It's a vehicle for these lower vibrational energies to move through. And we've all become addicted to them. And with that addiction comes more depression, more anxiety. And so, like, we are literally being possessed by these lower dimensional entities through the use of technology. It is the vehicle. And Rudolf Steiner, check out Rudolf Steiner. If you
Rudolf Steiner's got some amazing work. He's a very, very deep man. Have you seen that video of the kid that's asleep, that's doing this, and it's sleep, scrolling on the iPad like it's actually there, but it's dreaming? And we like to keep it light here on the Refreshed Cast, but there will be a split between old consciousness and new consciousness. There will be a dying off. And people hear that, they're like, "You're a cult leader." No, I just don't want to die. You know what I mean? And you are going to see the more homeopathic and holistic you take care of your child, the closer to God that child is. You're going to see parents and kids go the techno route, the eagle eye, the Ready Player One route, whatever you want to call it. You will see in the next 20, 30 years a direct reflection of who took action properly in the 2020s. I truly believe that. And it's important now more than ever because of the advancement in technology. Like, there's going to be earth babies and techno babies, and the microchipped fucking techno babies, bro, versus I hate that it's verse, but it's like whenever your actions, whenever I see a parent that's poisoning his child and believes that he is justified and righteous in doing so, that causes me pain. I need to get the fuck away from you, bro. And at kindergarten, what the fuck? You think I'm gonna put my kid in a kindergarten?
Unreal, bro. Get the indoctrination in early. And that's the whole thing, is like these people are having children and then they're outsourcing their parenting to the education system, to the daycares, to the screens. And then you wonder why you don't have a good relationship with your kid later on, why they're rebelling, why they're going against everything that you're trying to teach them, because they spent all the time in front of the screen, in front of the teacher, in front of the daycare. Really, what time did they get with you? You had very little to do with their programming. They're at school 8 hours a day. They come home and watch TV. Like, you guys spend very little time together. And again, I think this is why it's so important. Like, part of the reason I want to move my office to my house is so that I can spend as much time with my newborn child as possible. I want to be there every step of the way. I want that bonding. Him to have that bonding with his mother. Like, we're not going to send him off to daycare so that we can fuck off. Like, I'm not going to send him to be taught and educated by an education system. I'm going to teach and educate my child. I'm going to make sure that he is learning what actually matters, not bullshit lies that you're taught in school.
And we got parents that are listening to this that are on the fence, or maybe they are working that 9 to 5 and haven't structured their life toward a way that is what they love and in the way that they desire. And, me and you both we know about sacrifices and sacrificing to succeed. That's why we have this podcast and we feel justified in giving advice because we did the work, you know, and I would say that if you're on the fence and thinking about maybe something's telling you, man, I got to start homeschooling my kid, man, I got to start growing my own food, like take that leap. It's okay if you start small, but doing nothing at all, you don't know who your children are being programmed by. And you want to make sure that it's you. Yeah, who cares what they call it? If they call you a helicopter parent, it's like, well, you know, that place just got shot up. You know, like it's just, it's.
You're going to have your kids start coming home telling you that they're cats.
Yeah, bisexual cats. I'm like, damn, kindergarten's getting crazy now.
It really is getting crazy.
And you know, I want to say that to spark a fire in my warrior people. Like, it's okay to take a warrior's approach to parenting.
And I do want to touch on, like, I definitely understand that a lot of people don't have the means to not send their kids to school, right? They're both mom and dad is working full time, and so they can't do that. And that is part of what the system has created, to take both parties out of the home, and then the government steps in and fills the role of parent. And that does suck that that's where we're at. But again, I think that's why it's important for our generation and the next generation to be aware of these things up front and create a different life so that you can be there for your child and actually raise them the way that they're designed, rather than feeding them to the government to govern.
So are there any other closing statements you want to make? Like mine is take care of yourself, take care of this. You know, bringing life into this world is a precious thing. And I hope this episode furthered you in your tools and resources in your journey towards parenthood, you know, and I'm really excited for this episode to drop because I think it'll be a valuable resource. Might get some blowback, but we love that shit because you know. And if you're not, you're doing something wrong. You know, it's from our warrior people. Some people, it's not their position to be the person to take the stand, but that's what we're here doing. And don't let a sick, evil, twisted system designed to kill you take away your chance at a life of abundance, you know. And you might have had to get your fucking dick clipped and all that bullshit and C-sected and erected and detected, and you know, you might have had to go through that bullshit, but your child doesn't have to, because you can take that stand and break that 7th generational curse.
No, I would say that achieving health is always about coming back to living in the most natural way possible. So moving into the way that we're designed to live upon this earth in connection with nature and reality and real food and real connection, and then get away from everything artificial. So the same goes for how you raise your child. I always talk about how to get well, it's about taking radical responsibility in every phase of your life. And if you can't take radical responsibility for this brand new child that you brought into the world, I don't personally understand that. And so I encourage you to take radical responsibility for your own life and for that of your child, so that we can raise the next generation of healthy light warriors and get out of this system of hell that we've created.
We're going from hell to heaven, bro. By the tips of our dicks, we will make it. Refresh cast. This is beautiful, bro. Shit.